Dunbrack lead 2-0, and we've got some more substitutions at halftime. We will get those to you as soon as we get a moment.
I'd be shocked if Logan finishes this game. I'm surprised he's still out there.
McDonald tries the through ball. It's Dunbrack in red, Suburban in yellow. And Suburban playing down a man.
Jensen Brown, the Canada Games keeper, is also on the field now.
The third keeper of the night for Suburban. And that's what happens when you have the situation where guys leave for the Canada Games. You've got to carry 2 all season. Now they're in a position where they have 3. And the very rare situation where you see all 3 of them in one game.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's fortunate if your club has them, you know, but it's tough because someone's obviously not going to get much playing time over the next couple of days. So 2 Canada Games athletes as well onto the pitch. I see Lewis Dye at centre-back. That will make them a little bit tougher to break down. And Scotty Firth in central midfield just in front of him.
And that's Ryland Logan now taking over in goal for Dunbrack. So 5 keepers used here today. That's got to be bordering on a record.
Get your stat man out.
I don't know if they keep those kind of records here at this level, but it sounds good for the fans at home. And really, that's what we're here to do, Mike.
There's some big changes actually from Suburban. Van Zeel's in, number 2. New centre forward.
Lewis Dye and Scott Firth both into the game. Peve Jala, wearing number 11, is into the game. So wholesale changes for Suburban. Not as many for Dunbrack. Interesting. And again, they go out left for Keenan Mason. He's chased down by Aturiaga. Mason around him. Cross. Jack McDonald. Harrington inside. Left foot. And that shot off goal. Brown does not touch it. It will be a goal kick.
Yeah, good piece of skill again. Gets himself into a situation where he can go 1v1. Gets him behind. Unfortunately, he needs to make sure he goes across the goalkeeper. Again, that little change of pace. And he puts it the wrong side of the post.
A laser beam down the center of the park off the foot of Jensen Brown. And interestingly now here in the second half, the last few nights we've been here for Monday Night Soccer, the second half the sun has been piercing the eyes of the keeper in the south end of the field. A little bit of cloud cover is preventing that problem for Ryland Logan right now.
So as long as it's not windy, foggy and rainy, I'm okay.
It's been actually unbelievable, knock on wood, which there's not much around us, the weather we've had for our Monday night games this year, because yes, we're used to the fog coming in where you can't see that far goal in the second half. It's been a heck of a summer here in Halifax.
New turf.
It's the new turf. Reflects the fog.
There you go.
Something like that. Thanks so much to Cindy Ty for joining us at the half. Nova Scotia, in fact, Mike, finishing 5th overall in the medal standings at Canada Games. A lot of that damage was done on the water. A lot of our friends training in Dartmouth, but a bronze medal to Nova Scotia's female soccer team.
Yeah, 49, I think I checked this morning, 31 from Canoe Kayak. Quite the program they have.
Oh, it's unbelievable, and congratulations to them. Congratulations to everyone who went there. There's a lot of talk in my home province of Newfoundland that got 1 medal, and there is an awful lot of talk about elite sports and the focus that the government and the PSOs there place on it. Clearly, that's not so much of an issue here in Nova Scotia, where the PSOs are doing a great job, and so is Jensen Brown.
It's a great save by Brown. Again, though, the damage is done on the wing. As you can see here, little one down the line. Good first touch. Pulls it back. Lewis Dye just can't get anything on it. But again, Jensen Brown makes himself nice and big, straight down the middle.
And Keenan Mason cannot believe that he didn't score again. He'll be taking extra shots under the moonlight tonight. You know, I was getting on the topic of the PSOs. Of course, Mike, you work for Soccer Nova Scotia as the Director of Soccer Development. Is that right? That's the correct term?
Yeah, Director of Soccer Development. I mean, it's a tough one. We have the conversation all the time. We as a PSO, you know, we certainly value, you know, pushing on kids into, you know, higher elite environments. But if you don't do a good job of your grassroots, you're never going to have that anyway. You know, you need competition in order to fuel competition. And you know, if you only have, you know, a small handful of players that can meet that level, then you know you're going to reach your bar and you're ceiling very quickly. So it is a niche. They're not exclusive. I think that's where people get really confused by the whole process. You know, if you're going to have a good program that's thriving from bottom to top, you have to give everything the service that it requires.
How important have, for example, these two all-weather turf fields and the beautiful indoor complex adjacent to us, how important has that been to the development of soccer players here in Nova Scotia?
No question. I mean, infrastructure is certainly key. You know, we are very fortunate as one of the, you know, one maritime provinces that has an indoor soccer facility, you know, that we, you know, manage. So no question about it. But, you know, you still also have to put in the other pieces around it. So you have to value coach education. I'll hold it there.
Logan Harrington again, alone. Harrington and Brown. Jensen Brown comes up big again.
Ball in from Jack McDonald. Again, slows himself down and speeds up. What he's looking to do here, really, I think he just wants to try and get it around Jensen Brown. Probably needs to scoop it over him, just try and chip it over him, because Jensen Brown has gone down pretty early. Got off the hook again there, Suburban. But yeah, back to the point, I mean, you've got to put the infrastructure around, certainly, but if you don't have the other pieces, you know, if you don't value coach education, you know, trying to make the people that actually, you know, interact with your children and your players better, then your players won't get better either. And sometimes we throw around terms such as player development and we forget to really focus on the person that actually helps that, and that's coaching too. And I think we as a PSO, it's something we value, and I'm sure that the rest of our, you know, family members in the sport community in Nova Scotia do that too.
Hedyat will pick up a yellow card with this challenge on Van Zyl right here. Second card handed out in this match. So as and I know you've been traveling for a long time and you're going on not a lot of sleep, and I didn't prep you on any of these questions.
No.
So I'll preface my next statement with saying, as a person involved in development, what's a big goal for you? What do you want to see happening here next?
Well, we've set our stall out already. I mean, we want coach education. We want every child in this province to be, you know, interacting with a coach that's trained. Whether you're a U8 child in Amherst, in Nova Scotia, or in Sydney, Cape Breton, you know, that child deserves an experience. If they're going to, you know, participate in the sport for life, you know, they've got to be given an environment that's, you know, fun, stress-free, and that obviously focuses on the right developmental areas. We have to change our mindset a little bit, because I think sometimes we're just happy throwing a bag of balls out there, and then it's, you know, we wonder why kids don't enjoy their experience. But you have to invest in your people. So I mean, that's certainly something that we've put our hat on. The other one is we've just hired Matt Holton from Halifax City to be our grassroots development officer. You know, we've never had anybody that actually services grassroots directly. So I think that's a big move, a big statement as well. So that we can start to service, you know, all the facets of the game, not just, you know, the high performance, which has kind of been the case in the past. We've done a great job with that. I mean, we have to just make sure that we have more staff. The people who, you know, sat in the chair before me, fantastic people, you know, pioneers as well. You know, I'm fortunate that they're still around, so I get to interact with them all the time. but they did stuff on, you know, really little resources. They didn't have much money, they didn't have much staff, and we're fortunate right now that we're trying to do more. We just got to make sure we do the right things.
Firth is tackled by McDonald at the center circle. Hard pops back up. Really like the game of McDonald. You alluded to him earlier.
Yeah, he's a classy player. I mean, he's very versatile. He was playing left back for Canada games. He was just unfortunate to not make that final squad, but he's doing a job here in midfield. And you know, yes, they have an extra player, but you can see his football IQ, his intelligence. He knows what he's doing. He's managing the game at the right areas. That was a good foul as well. You know, those are little things that, you know, Jack will bring.
And he's undeterred by his smaller stature. We've got potentially a blood sub or an injury sub. Aturiaga is limping off across the field. No blood, so an injury. The referee has communicated with Fernando Aturiaga. And our microphones are so good, thanks to our audio engineer, Bill Barnaby, lets us know that the calf not right.
Cramping up. I mean, the game's been stretched for Suburban, so probably a little bit too much running.
Ramirez into the foot of Jala. Firth going the wrong way. Or if you ask him, the ball was going the wrong way. Dunbrack in transition. Come on! To the snake-bitten Keenan Mason. Hard tackle die, play on. Again. Logan Harrington, he's got a goal tonight. He could have 4.
Does want to keep it alive. Gets fortunate there. Snapshot just wide of the post.
Jensen Brown's been busy since coming into this one.
Just watching Dunbrack the last couple of minutes, they've not had the same kind of width as they had earlier. I don't know if the coach has recognised something in the middle of the field that he wants to try and tighten up, but they had great width in the first half and it just really exploited Suburban. But right now, still about 10 yards. They're giving about 10 yards away. They can stretch it a little more. They've got that extra player. They should be able to take advantage of that. See if the fullbacks kick on. Could be try and overload those sides.
It's gotten a little chillier here since the sun has gone down. We started at about 25, 26 degrees. Down around 20 right now. Rini Ramani. Another halftime substitution.
Dunbrack just need to manage the ball a little bit. They've got the extra player. 2-0 up. We're spending the next 10 minutes just getting Suburban to chase them and then pick and choose their moments.
Suburban are cemented into 4th place, regardless of the outcome here tonight, as our Dunbrack cemented into second. Playoffs start here on Saturday. First versus fourth, then second versus third. The winners play Sunday in the final. And the winner of Sunday's match heads to Fredericton Thanksgiving Day weekend.
Just start again here, just cycle it again. Don't need to force it.
So with the provincials being played this weekend, so they'll wrap up on the 20th, thereabouts. Then you don't play for about 7 weeks.
Yeah, don't get me started.
So you disagree with that as well?
Yeah, listen, we don't get enough outdoor soccer time as it is, and we seem to wrap up way too early because we have to give our club national representatives to the Canada Soccer. It's not good. It's not good preparation for the teams that make it anyway. For me personally, I'd like to see the season extended to at least the end of October. Obviously, that means we then have an issue with who represents our province at club nationals. But I have a hard time of ruining our whole soccer experience for the whole league and all the players just so one team in that division can go away. There's got to be a better way to do it, and these are the kind of questions we ask ourselves and we're trying to find, because it'd be great to see this league go on from early May to the end of October, a true season.
So is that a fundraising deal? What is the reason that it needs to be declared so early?
Yeah, there's a number of fundraising. It's sports and politics are very complicated. But I mean, it's just entrenched now in our culture. Club nationals. It's
always been done that way.
Yeah, it's the be all and end all, and we miss out so many more months of soccer.
Of course, there's the provincial team nationals. Now, I guess some age groups wouldn't have played them in a Canada game here, but normally they're in July. Is that right?
We have Atlantics. There's no longer like an All-Stars anymore. So Atlantics was June and July, you're right, yeah. And that will continue for the foreseeable future. We, as Nova Scotia, had our age groups play up a year, which we felt was a really good experiment. And, I think our neighbours also felt that it went quite well, so we'll continue to do that for next season as well.
Of course, a lot of these players, especially at this age group, will mix into the high school soccer season as well, which will coincide with the start of school, which, yes, is just around the corner, believe it or not.
Yeah, that's another variable, I think, for why the season ends as well. All part of the greater puzzle.
Here comes Mason again with a head of steam. He and Harrington have been quite the 1-2 lookout combination. And thank you to the Dunbrack supporters who saved our bacon here in the broadcast booth, as that ball was coming hard off the foot of Lewis Dye.
Yeah, a little bit too much asked of Logan. He's ran a lot already, but Lewis Dye making a statement there. Listen, you've had a lot of success tonight getting in behind. You ain't having that one.
And those are those guys. They're sitting just in front of us. Those are those guys. That's the best I can come up with. Those are the guys that saved us from getting hit with a soccer ball. Harrington one more time.
See here where that extra man now starting to tell Suburban clear the ball, go straight back to Dunbrack.
Yes, Suburban playing down a man. About the 25th minute, a red card to Ronan O'Brien, and that has certainly really put the halt to the Suburban offense, which had come out of the gates very hungry. Another cross cleared again by Dye.
Take it out, take it out.
Dye, one of 3 returning Canada Games players on this Suburban team. Ramirez Cross into the box. Nothing doing. Keenan Mason. Cuts back for McDonald.